This comes from the dream state. It comes from the unconscious. Oh, hi there. Welcome to Adventure in Art. My name is Ben Staley, your resident talking head. Yes, it's true. Mostly I'm a filmmaker. We don't talk a lot about, got some tea here, filmmaking on the channel, but this one's about filmmaking. Films are like little dreams. They come from a more primal place, I feel like, at least the kind of films that I like. Yes, you have your big populist Hollywood films, but I feel like they all come from the imagination, from a dream state, from, sound and images, juxtaposition of images, juxtaposition of sound and images. Montage. I love films. I didn't get to see a lot of films when I was a kid because we lived so remotely in Alaska. Till I was a teenager, I could count on one hand how many times I'd even been to the movie theater. Films were like sacred to me. They were a very special occasion when I got to go watch a movie, even when I got to sit in front of a TV and watch something on a VCR. VCRs just came out when I was a young boy, probably in single digits is when they first started having VCRs, late 70s, early 80s, Betamax, and then that went away and there was VHS. I'm rambling already. You guys want to talk about this short film I just made? You saw a little bit of it at the beginning. Where did this all start? I've been making experimental films for a long time. Almost this year might be the anniversary of the 20-year anniversary of the first experimental film I made, which was a film called Ritual. I shot it all in one night with a Panasonic DVX-100 in a dingy old hotel room of an abandoned hotel. Got a bunch of actors together. The day before I went and shot that thing, I started having panic attacks and I thought, this isn't gonna work out. This idea is stupid. No one's gonna like this. What am I doing? But I made a feature-length experimental film in one night. On tape, on little mini DV tapes. That little film, it actually was shown in a whole bunch of art shows and it was cool. I mean, nothing really ever came of it, but it was fun to take it around and show people. A few years later, I made another short film called Passage. Again, shot it all in one night. It was feature length. It was an hour and a half long. It was one shot. That one also played in some art shows around LA. And then I recut it into a 3-minute little music video-esque type thing. There's a link to that below. It was actually selected by 9 Inch Nails. I used one of their instrumental tracks and they actually had it on their website for a little while, a long time ago. It's like maybe 15, 16 years ago. So I've been making experimental films for a long time. I love it. I love operating on intuition, on just pure ideas and instinct, just kind of tapping into that dream state and the imagination, mixing sound and image. It's one of my favorite things to do. I need to do more of it. The more, every time I do a project like this, I realize that I need to be doing this more. Where did this start? I discovered this artist, Seryoza Parishikov. Anyways, I'm linking all my collaborators below because I certainly didn't do this alone. I had a lot of help. And all those people are linked below. Their Instagram handles, best place to find these people. I discovered Seryoza's work on Instagram and he designed all these masks in 3D. You know, they looked real, but they look like they're from some ancient culture or some future culture. They're utterly unique and he's got dozens of them and different things that he's designed in 3D and then made images of them. And that's what his Instagram is. And I just, followed him and I just became a big fan. I just loved what I saw. They just inspired my imagination. And we got to talking And then I talked to my little brother, Dan, who is a mechanical engineer, and he has a 3D printer. He's brilliant. He's an incredible artist in his own right. He's linked below, and you should check out his work. I called up my brother Dan, and I said, hey, Dan, check this out. Do you think you could print one of these masks? And he's like, I think I could. And so he got together with this artist, and he was sent over digital files, and somehow he converted those into a file that he could print on his 3D printer. And bada bing, bada boom. Look at this. Look at this. Dan actually printed out like 4 different masks. One of them, this one I was wearing at the beginning, I haven't made a film with this one, and I have another one too, which is the most elaborate and is incredible. I'm gonna do something with these other masks, you better believe it. So Dan printed out 4 of these masks, and he painted on them, and he fine-tuned, detailed them, and he made them look as close to the digital representations as possible. These masks are works of art. They are utterly amazing. I'm even now just holding them, I'm totally inspired by them, by the design that this guy did, and by the physical manifestation that my brother made. These are incredible. I had these for a while, and I thought, what should I do with them? And then my friends at Panasonic lent me a couple cameras rigged out with these anamorphic cinema lenses, and I thought, aha, this is the ticket. So I called up 2 of my friends, Isaiah and Bryn, who I've actually both photographed. You've probably seen some of that work on the channel. They're both brilliant. They're amazing physical artists. They're just amazing artists and athletes. They're incredible. So we got together and I showed them the masks.
Fucking cool.
There's 4, there's another mask in there.
I'm feeling the most connected to, wait, which one are you connected?
Yeah, that's yours.
I like the one I put on first.
Okay, good, me too. I like this one.
Because these ones, I'm like, I just knew this was for you.
Yeah,
I
like
just
that.
knew it, dude. It's so cool.
Perfect.
I said, you want to make something? And they were like, yes. They were so pumped and into it. And we started rehearsing. Isaiah coaches gymnastics, so we just went to the space that he uses, and I brought the camera, and they started working on some choreography. We played some music. I started experimenting with the camera and with shots, and they experimented with movement. And it was very organic, and we just sort of started discovering things, creating images with their body and figuring out where to put the camera. And we did that for a few months, off and on. They worked together alone sometimes. Sometimes I would come into the space and with a camera and observe and kind of direct them. Discovered this really unique studio in LA that had this ceiling full of LED lights, and I thought, that's the spot. So we went in and we shot it.
So Brandon, I'm gonna do a single thing on you again in about 5 minutes.
I brought my friend Kelvon and my wife Danny, and they helped out. They were a big help, and we all just spent a day in this studio.
Right there, towards me, Brandon. That mask, there we go, hold it. Go back there, go back that way.
Now, for me, sound is really half the experience. And I had a friend who was going to do the sound. He's incredible, but he got too busy. And then I was kind of left hanging, and I thought, what am I going to do here? I started trying to make some sounds in GarageBand like I used to do for the channel here, and I just wasn't satisfied. It's just nothing I could do I felt was good enough. And then, out of the blue, I discovered this artist who works with synthesizers and like electronic instruments. I'm not really even sure how he does it, but he's called Snakes of Russia. You need to check this dude out. Linked below. Incredible. I went to his website and he was selling these little packs of sounds, loops and different textures and sound textures. So I downloaded one of them and I kind of mixed them up and I came up with this little track, and it's everything that I would have wanted. And then I reached out to this guy, Snakes of Russia, and I said, hey man, do you mind if I use this? I've remixed this and I've done this. And he was all for it. And bada bing, there it was. So that's it. That's the short Reader's Digest version. That's how I made this little 3-minute short film. You can check it out on my website, linked below. Leave me some comments if you have any more questions. There's really nothing more to it than that. I got together with my friends. I brought in as many people as I could. I was inspired by the masks that this fella had made. I was inspired by the physical masks that my brother printed out and made physical. I was inspired by my two friends who are just brilliant athletes and physical artists. I want to do more of this kind of thing. Yeah. It comes from the unconscious. It comes from the dream state. Is there a story here? Well, in my mind, there is. There's very much a story. Does that story translate to you? I don't know. I'm not too concerned with that. I needed to express these things that I was feeling, and that's all this is about. This is just about creating something, some piece of work that expresses how I'm feeling, visions I'm seeing. This comes from the dream state. It comes from the unconscious. Don't be afraid to get out there and fly your own flag. Do you. Pull these things out of the unconscious. Try and make images, films, sounds that you haven't seen, felt, or heard before. There's no rules. There's no rules in art. Just be authentic, be pure, and be true to yourself. We'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.
Love it.